She was dying of thirst, but instead of drinking the water, she poured it all over her face. A few seconds later, she climbed onto a higher spot with the empty bottle and started licking rainwater off a rusty metal panel. It wasn't enough, so she gathered every drop she could and slowly filled the bottle. The water tasted like rust, but to her, it was the first real chance to survive. Seawater had been leaking into the container for days, but no matter how thirsty she was, she knew drinking it would only make things worse. Just when she was about to lose hope, more drops landed on her face. She looked up and realized it was raining outside. For the first time in days, she stood there in disbelief, letting the rain hit her skin like it was a miracle. Then she quickly grabbed every container she could find and placed them around the room to collect fresh water. Even a tiny can was too valuable to waste. While cleaning the can, she accidentally broke the pull tab. But when she saw the lid peel open, it gave her an idea. One side of the shipping container had already been damaged. If she could find the right pressure point, maybe she could open it the same way. After calming her baby down, she grabbed 2 straps, pulled with everything she had, and slowly ripped the metal wider and wider. Finally, she threw her full body weight onto it. With a loud screech, the panel tore open, and sunlight hit her face for the first time in a week. But the second she climbed outside, her hope almost disappeared. The container was floating alone in the middle of the ocean. No land, no boat, no one in sight. Still, compared to the dark, wet space inside, the open air gave her a small chance to think. Then she noticed something unexpected. A dirty diaper she tossed into the water attracted small fish. At first, she tried catching them by hand, but the container was too high above the sea. So she made a rough spear and threw it again and again, but every attempt failed. She had no survival training, and after wasting all that energy, she collapsed on top of the container, weak and starving. That was when she saw a plane in the sky. She rushed back inside, pulled a piece of glass from a broken TV screen, and climbed back up, hoping to reflect sunlight toward the plane. But in her panic, her thigh caught the sharp metal edge. The cut was deep, but she didn't have time to stop. She held the glass up as high as she could, trying to signal for help. The plane kept going. Nobody saw her. By the time she went back inside, the wound was getting worse. She found a hook from an electrical panel, took a hard drink of alcohol, then poured the rest over the injury and forced herself to stitch it closed. The pain nearly broke her, but she stayed awake because her baby still needed her. When she opened her eyes again, a pile of tangled earphones gave her another idea. She pulled out the colorful wires and wove them into a small fishing net. Then she used the smell from the diaper to attract fish and lowered the net into the water. This time, it worked. After days of hunger, she finally had food. From then on, she built a strange little survival system. She collected rainwater, caught small fish, fed her baby, drained water from the container, and wrote help messages on food containers before throwing them into the sea. Every few hours, she sent another message out, hoping someone, somewhere, would find it. But day after day, the ocean stayed empty. By the 26th day, the container had soaked for too long. It was starting to sink. The mother and baby had no choice but to move on top of it. Just as she tried to figure out how to survive the night, a seagull landed nearby. That meant land could be close. For a second, she almost let herself believe they were going to make it. But that night, the damaged opening burst under the pressure of the waves. Water rushed in fast. She climbed down to block the hole, but the container suddenly tilted. At the same time, the baby's small floating boat was pushed out into the open water. In the panic, a rope wrapped around the mother's feet. The container was sinking, and she was trapped. She grabbed a knife, dove under the water, and started cutting. The rope was tougher than she expected, and every second stole more air from her lungs. Just when she was about to black out, she finally cut herself free and fought her way back to the surface. Now she had to find her baby in the dark. The waves were moving, the night was pitch black, and she couldn't see the little boat anywhere. She screamed her daughter's name again and again. Then something massive appeared in the water. A whale had come near them. The mother panicked at first, but the whale didn't hurt her. Instead, it moved toward the baby's boat and sprayed water into the air. The baby started crying, and that cry led the mother straight back to her daughter. But now the container was gone. They had nothing left but the tiny floating boat. Another day passed. The mother was barely conscious, but she kept throwing fish bones into the sea, hoping they would attract birds. If birds gathered, maybe a passing boat would notice. After what felt like forever, a fishing boat finally came close. A girl on board spotted something strange on the water, and the crew turned toward it. At first, they only saw the small boat. When they pulled it up, they found a pale newborn baby inside. Then the girl noticed a rope tied to it. She pulled as hard as she could, and the mother was dragged up from under the water. Only then did they realize what she had done. The baby's boat had started taking in water, so the mother had gone underneath it and held it up with her own body. She used the last of her strength to keep her daughter alive. The fisherman tried to save her, but she had been underwater for too long. Her lips had turned purple and she wasn't responding. Then the baby made a tiny sound, and the girl holding her refused to give up. She tried again, harder this time. Finally, the mother gasped back to life. She lay on the deck, barely able to understand that it was finally over. One mother had survived a month in the middle of the ocean with her newborn child. If you were trapped out there with your baby, how long do you think you could keep fighting?